This narrative is far more than mere fiction.
Are you Master Copperfield?
I am indeed.
It is, in fact, written memory.
To be honest, I didn't know anything about David Copperfield. And when I first got the email from my agents, at a quick glance, I thought it was about the magician.
I'm David Copperfield. You're my aunt.
I've got a garden fork.
Charles Dickens always said it was his favourite of his books.
Wash him.
Janet! Yes, round the bar.
David Copperfield does resonate most closely with Dickens' own life and with his own experience.
This is Copperfield. He's new.
It's a coming-of-age journey. It's about someone who is trying to find his way in life.
I'm in love.
Really?
Utterly.
And I can relate to that as a human being, and I'm sure millions of others can.
What are you doing?
Medicine. Reviving you.
This is salad dressing.
Is it? Thought it was Armagnac.
And action!
I'm a huge Dickens fan. I reread David Copperfield about 5 or 6 years ago. And as I read it, I thought, I want to make this as a movie.
Are we expecting visitors?
Bailiffs. I dispose!
It's the drama and the humour and the personalities.
The debtor's prison awaits.
It's constantly moving and engaging.
I'm ruined.
I have no money.
It's one of my favourite books. He's very good at funny, Dickens, but he's also really good at nightmare.
You can't take something from someone who has nothing.
It's these fluctuating fortunes of the characters, which is really fascinating to observe, and it will forever be relevant. So I think the movie's for everyone.
This is a remarkable day.
I think young people will identify with that whole business of growing up. And adults too, I think, will see how as you get older, you make mistakes and you're trying to work out where you're going in life. So I would love whole families to come and see it and each generation to get something out of it.
Donkeys! Stew! Stew! Come on your way. I'll tan your hide and put you in a stew.
Whether I turn out to be the hero of my own story, or whether that station will be held by anybody else, these moments must show.
David Copperfield is about someone who is trying to find his way in life, and because he is kind of the eyes and ears to this journey, it's amazing because you can just take from all these different characters and observe them.
I thought I might call you Trotwood. If I'm to financially support my nephew, I want to like his name.
Dickens was so interested in the good in people, I think. And one of the things I love about David Copperfield in particular is that there are these terrible passages of the worst kind of nightmare, and yet there are these North Stars, these people that he heads for.
Hello, I'm Mr. Dick, very partial to gingerbread.
Dickens had this ability to generate an amazing volume of characters that he was able to encompass with such extraordinary skill.
I wanted to make sure we try and keep it fresh and lively and keep everyone he meets absolutely amazing and incredible and eccentric.
I'm thrilled to make your acquaintance, Master Copperfield. Thank you. I'm in deep humility.
All the characters feel funny because they feel recognisable, I think. Heightened, but grounded in a core truth.
Do you live on the streets now?
Well, we do currently exist primarily al fresco, but with all the advantages that entails.
We have a cast who find the humour and the sadness and the fun and the richness in a very modern way.
It should feel contemporary. It should feel that these people are like you and me, or like people we know. The circumstances they're going through are the circumstances that people go through now.
What Armando's done is actually just make the world of Dickens even more accessible to a wider audience, because there's a bigger opportunity for people to see themselves in these characters.
This is Cropwood Trosserfield.
My truest hope is that I might go half as strong and wise in the telling of their story as they have grown in the living of it.
My name is David Copperfield.
Daisy.
Trotwood. Davy.
Dodie.
What's she doing here?
London is full of more wonders and wickedness than all the cities of the earth. And it's ours, David, to go wherever we choose. Well, I'm not down there. Creditors make that road impossible.
I wanted London to feel not the place of sort of mud and cobbled streets and urchins all doing this. I kind of wanted it to feel fresh and actually exciting.
Armando's vision of the entire film was to make it unlike anything you'd have ever associated with a traditional Dickens We wanted to represent it as if it is just alive and busy and beautiful. So we've kind of gone there with the colours.
Nice cut on that waistcoat. Who's your tailor?
When we look at period dramas, we always make things look a bit drab and old. They're 100 years old, so the clothes need to look as if they're 100 years old, but they weren't. The buildings, the clothes, everything was fresh and new and modern and quite bold and colourful and representative of what our society is now.
You look very striking.
Thank you.
Even though it's set in 1840 and we've gone out of our way to make it as accurate as possible, it should feel contemporary. So all the anxiety about what happens when you get into debt.
What's happening?
Bailiffs.
And similarities with housing conditions and slum dwellings. That sort of situation still goes on today.
I'm ruined.
Like a castle.
A lot of Dickens is all about experience he suffered himself as a child, which is the rise and fall of people's fortunes. One minute you could be living somewhere, the next minute turfed out in the street.
This is your new lodgings.
I preferred, I think, the larger apartment.
This is very much based on 1840 conditions, but it's very much based also on 1950 conditions and, dare I say it, 2020 conditions. We shot a scene where there were 13 people in here and they all have to find their own space. You know, conditions like this were the norm for a huge proportion of the population.
Sometimes the story takes us back to one location twice.
Wait till you see this.
One instance is a boathouse that he's remembered as really wonderful. It's a lovely experience when he's little. And then it comes back as a slight shock to him that when he goes back to it when he's older, it's a real upturned boathouse. So it's got a lot of grunge to it.
In my recollection, it was more colourful.
That was fun, actually, just bringing in different colours and different tones and making it feel quite warm and golden initially and then just really bringing it down a bit.
We raised the floor in the set so that the second time round, it's a lot more difficult to get round. And David, someone tall like Dev, just keeps banging his head repeatedly.
Not yet.
I've really got to see all the little corners of the UK that I've never really been able to travel to before, so that's been very exciting. And then to see them transformed into these kind of Dickens worlds is even more magical.
I'm in love.
Really?
This calls for a celebration.
Hooray!
For me, David's journey is a coming-of-age journey.
He deals with love and unrequited love, all of those vital things that make us human.
I'm David Copperfield.
I'm Dora Spenlow. Dora Spenlow is the daughter of David's first employer, and they have this immediate attraction and kind of are besotted with each other.
Dora, love is love before, but no lover shall ever love as we love.
That's very complicated, but thank you.
He falls in love with this girl Dora, and then just imagine seeing her everywhere and her name everywhere.
Do some work.
She's not a brat, she's just utterly unaware of any of the life outside of her own. Will the lady be in soon with some tea?
The lady does not exist.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Will she ever? We feel that one of the reasons that David falls so completely for her so suddenly is because she does have a resemblance to his mother. Like, she seems to represent just woman in all its delicateness, but he kind of learns that that's not necessarily all that a woman can be and not necessarily what suits him.
You must be Trotwood. I'm Wicicfield. This is my daughter, Agnes.
Oh, a vow. I should demand it at our every meeting from now on, as if I'm an empress.
Or mad.
I'm playing Agnes Wicicfield, who is David's best friend much of the story. She challenges David, and she's silly, and she's witty, and she's smart.
You probably think I'm following you. Help me. I'm being followed by Agnes.
Her feelings for him start much earlier in their relationship, but it takes him quite a while for him to realise he's in love with her also.
And how is Dora?
Wonderful. I propose to and intend to marry her in the morning.
So my answer is yes. I will marry you.
You like them both, but you could see that actually, don't do this, David. Don't do it. You know, it's that sense of someone making mistakes in front of us. It captures that anxiety I think we have in modern life.
You will have a happy lifetime.
Lifetime.
60 years at least.